Good morning and welcome to today's live show. You're probably wondering why I have volatility up and it's reacting a little bit differently than I expected, but it is shaping up something interesting here. One thing you would be worried about for today is if we actually do confirm this up on the daily scale. So watch for this by the end of the day, but we do have some reversal signals that turned a little bit more reversal-like. Now we'll see if this can hold. You do have a sense of triple divergence here for the 15-minute. You can see it there on the 30-minute for the RSI, not necessarily on the MACD at the same time. So we will look if that is some kind of pullback in some way, but this is suggesting that we could see some kind of bounce intraday. So we'll pay attention to it, but it is ramping up. So we will have to see if this 2 hour keeps going up and up and up to the sky. We could break through 20, and that's where things can get a little bit more sketchy. As we look at the SPY, we can see that we're holding up pretty well here. We have some daily expected moves, 594.23 to the upside, 583.03 to the downside. So we're holding at the open, pretty much at the close of yesterday. We'll see how this turns out. If we need to come fill this gap, well, this might be another 2 hour trap, actually, if we end up going like this and then we see some good news. So we'll pay attention to that. But overall, we can notice that this market's going to be more rip around kind of behavior. We thought we might have been out of it with the short squeeze potential starting, and then now we're noticing, hey, we're actually going to see some further volatility. So something to pay attention to is react, maybe even be patient, and the opportunities that are really good might show their face. And maybe no one's paying attention to those kinds of stocks. I'm kind of liking this look from Apple. We'll see what happens with it. Out there, I think a lot of people scared from Nvidia. We are getting a little bit of a reaction up here. I think you are justified to say that Nvidia could fall even further, but maybe it needs some kind of 30-minute bounce first. So we will be paying attention to that. Once again, this did not have divergence, so we wouldn't be surprised if this is able to build back, but we want to just be cautious at these type of areas, right? Our weekly expected move coming in at these highs, helping us out a little bit there. So that is fantastic. We love weekly expected moves. And if you love weekly expected moves, then you love that for Meta as well. Pretty damn far outside of its weekly, but coming back down into it. So if you want those levels, join the Patreon right now. The link is down in the description. It will help you out with times like this one. This is a great run, and you would hate for it all to be ruined with that. So the weekly expected move can convince you to make some decisions there. If you need to learn how to use those weekly expected moves, hey, we have 90% off the courses down in the description. I'm going to leave that sticker on there for most of the day because I think it's good for people to know a lot of how to utilize these weekly ranges, how to manage risk in their overall trades. If we really just go over to the SPY and we look at this thing and you're going, okay, the 30-minute cross down, you're looking for that to cross back up. It failed the cross up, right? When this 15-minute fails, that's when we go, okay, we're pointing towards a daily expected move. So that is where I took my risk out of the market at that point, taking profit on the way up to make money, and then selling out of all the other positions to break even. So overall, a positive trade. And now I can just sit and see if this little divergence for the Qs is going to mean anything today. 522.22 to the upside for the Qs, and we have 508.14 to the downside for the Qs. Once again, still paying attention to if we need to reach down and then see this level fought again, right? We notice the key levels, right? We pointed that out at the beginning of the week. Very easy key levels because your weekly expected moves are right at them for the SPY and the Qs. It's above this, very, very bullish. Below this, pretty damn bearish, right? If you can close below that, but then we'll see if that's able to be bought up. We'll see if this has a trap in some way. If you remain within this area, what do you notice we've had in this area the whole time? A lot of volatility, right? So I would expect volatility if we remain in this area. If we start to break through highs, break through lows, that might give us some direction. Thank you guys so much for joining today. Really do appreciate you being here this morning. I'm going to take a big old chug of my coffee and let you guys trickle in. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you nothing but luck with your trades today. That's the good stuff. Oh, that's some good stuff. Anybody else have snow? Because I'm not liking the snow right now, man. Fear of market credibility. 1 foot? Ugh. Ours is pretty much a foot. Pretty crazy though. Pretty crazy though that we didn't see. Actually, I mean, it's not that crazy to back off in this area. What was it? There was a stock I was looking at. I was really looking at it, and I thought AMD was interesting. You know, once again going wrong, right? AMD able to hold positive in positive territory with the pullback, looking pretty flaggy, and then just drops. Oh God, poor AMD. Is this the right? Let me make sure I have the right charts up. Yeah, I have the right charts up. Hey, futures put calls. Yeah, I like just regular put calls in the regular market, and I don't think the platform's too important. So I'm always probably once every couple years I've switched. So I'm still kind of playing around to see what's my favorite. Like I said, it's just like more so about trading platforms. I think it's just like getting started, see what you're successful, and see what you like. Right? I think there's reasons to like Robinhood. I think there's reasons to like Webull and things like that, easy entry and things like that. Just got to worry about the commissions they make or whatever it is. What is it they do? Payment for order flow maybe. But as far as it goes, like people really like Thinkorswim and things like that a little bit more. E-Trade. It's cold here in Florida. Ew. Oh yeah, let's look at data real quick because we're gonna get some data this morning, just a little bit, some mortgage rate data, some ADP employment change. That'll be interesting. Initial jobless claims came out this morning at 201, and the ADP employment change came in at 122K. So initial jobless claims coming in at 201. Not a terrible sign there, but we'll see. We got some crude oil, some gas stocks exchange, and then obviously at 1 p.m., that's the FOMC minutes. That's when you really want to be paying attention. Unfortunate to have an off day, but pay our respects to a previous president. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness. Damn, what a sell-off yesterday. Can we just say that for a second? Damn. Damn. Good morning, Maurice. How you doing? You think red day today? Really depends. It depends. I really want to figure out if we're going to do something like this. Something like this. Notice this. This is a big drop. It's during market hours, though. Very interesting. It's during market hours. It's like they want you to see it, right? It's like this was not during market hours. These big moves down. This was. They want you to see it. Ended up being a trap. This one wasn't, but it still ended up being a trap. Now it's during market hours, so people really go through that emotional pain when it's like during market hours, actually, because they just see it keep going down. They keep trying buying those dips. We're just waiting to see if a 30-minute can turn up. Right? I'm just seeing if a 30-minute can turn up, and then if it goes like this, and then we get FOMC, and then we start to fail, that's when I'll be watching out for more downside. Trying to keep it simple. I was screwed yesterday. Yeah, you just got to be able to react to the data. That's why I think, you know, last night's video, I just had to make it fast. That's why I feel like my tone in that video was weird, but I just had to make it pretty quick. So I was just trying to get a point across very bluntly, like have a plan for around data, guys, right? Just like my plan right now. Hey, let's see if we can build this back, and then I'm going to watch for a reaction if we're up here. Let's see if we drop down, and I'm going to look for the reaction if we're down here, right? That's all I'm going to do. And if this 30-minute is curled up, it would be a lot different than over here. And it actually would be a lot different than even right here. The thing it's just you don't really want people guessing, right? Guessing before. You'd more so, if you're gonna have people guess before, you want them to go with, oh, this is gonna be bad, and then they're wrong. That would make the more, I think that would make the most sense. Like you continue the trend down, retail in the morning, very, very bearish. And then once we get that Jerome Powell news or something, or FOMC, we actually see more upside. So I'll be paying attention, but we need confirmation from signals, right? This is why confirmation is very important, right? If you just look at this 15-minute and you were like, okay, I was diligent, I took profit at a daily, I took profit towards the daily expected move again, maybe, and then that comes down, and then you're going, okay, I'm leaving my runners. If this 15-minute can cross up, we're a surefire bet to really touch 601.82, right? You're like, hey, if that 15-minute curls up, we're there. but it didn't. So what was your plan for if you didn't curl up? What was your plan as you go negative? That's what really convinced me. I just go, hey, I'll take my risk out. If we want to do this and then turn back up, I'll get right back in. But yeah, it's just kind of having a plan, I think, is better. My first investment. What was it, Vital? Let me see it. Let me see it. Please tell me it's not some little penny thing. It is. I'm sorry. Well, you never know with those penny things, but hopefully you did some due diligence and you see some potential for growth in the revenues of the company or something like that. Maybe you see that orders are coming in a little bit better. You got to look into things like that if a stock is like way down. Is it forming an inverted head and shoulders? Well, so one thing we discussed, remember we were discussing how this is an important level and we might be making some kind of structure later. If we react to here, we might back off. Remember what we do a lot of the time? If we skip that, and then we go up, sometimes you do dip all the way down to make that right shoulder again, right? So it kind of looks like it could be one of those moments. It's just that's such a big amount of selling pretty quickly in one day, right? Still seeing some buying in it, so I don't think like this is an absolute flush, but people are trying to catch this. So we'll see what happens, but overall, I think it just adds some credibility to, hey, if this 30-minute can turn up, we haven't really violated the key levels to say this is going to be some kind of mega drop. What are you mooing? What are you guys mooing about? My dogs started mooing at each other. What the hell? So I think you could say that. Now, I don't think it is this. I really don't think this is structure. I mean, I think some people could call it that, right? You might be able to call it that in some way, but I think you're more so just paying attention to all of this over here, seeing this come down. Maybe you see an even low at the daily. Now, the way that's violated is if you start to make like a wick even below that, that's going to be violated at that point. But well, it's already been technically violated, but I'm just saying a lot of the time you do see this happen where you're like, okay, we're going to make a head and shoulders right here. And then you skip it. And if you fail the retest, you can drop down to see if you can find buyers down at lower levels. Bruce, stop mooing. You're not a cow. Yeah, I'm going to lose a foot today, YS, you know what I mean? So we'll see what's in store for us, but I don't think you're wrong to call that out. I think if that's what you're seeing, that's how I'm seeing it. I just don't think that this looks like a good enough left shoulder. I mean, that's really deep left shoulder. Head would be at a breakdown area. But at least we have 2 points to connect now. There you go. And look, we might have 2 points down here. Let's just draw some lines for fun today, right? Look how long this could take before we break out, by the way. If this is going to hold the whole time, we could end up doing this. See what happens. Or to the downside, right? Bruce is straight up mooing over here, dude. Mooing. All right, now it's an eyesore. I'm taking this off. Alrighty, well, looks like IWM showing some lower prices as of right now. What is going on with that? Dang, IWM, you drop him, dude. Stop dropping like that. Don't say the to the downside part, Chad. Sorry about that. That's my bad. No confirmation from Apple yet. Really do actually enjoy this. I kind of like this look right now. do something here. Whoops. So a little bit of oopsie. We cleaned it up. We cleaned it up. We cleaned it up. Don't you guys worry. We cleaned it up. All right. So going forward, looks like Apple's something to pay attention to. We'll see if that can hold that divergence. Maybe even on an hourly you have that and it's a little bit better. But something we'll pay attention to is if volatility is able to actually pull down further, we could always make another reference point, right? This is a bullish trend, right? So until we really ruin that bullish trend on the 15-minute here, it's going to be a little bit tough. We can even see that on the 30-minute kind of saying, hey, this is the low. So if we start to take this out, that's where I'd be a little bit feeling better that volatility is going to come down. As of right now, I mean, the 2 hours are pointing down. I mean, I think a lot of them are starting to be curling down in negative territory. So if this confirms, then we are very likely to see a downside move tested at some point. So we'll see if that happens. We have pretty much 2 hours in the bar. Minutes we'll have today, the market expectation should be less cuts coming in the next year. Well, the thing that is really causing people a lot of trouble here is you're getting a lot of confusion going forward. You have the Fed saying they could pause, they're not looking to raise, they're probably going to cut. And then they start to see data that's like, wow, it really looks like they need to raise. But then you're also seeing some things from the the labor market that's going, okay, well, but if we raise, we're going to cause more problems in the labor market, and that's going to send us into a recession right away. So I think you're just stuck in an area where no answer is the right answer. But it looks like to me, as long as the yields start coming down, we can actually see positivity in the market. That's what it seems like the mentality of people right now is yields high bad. We're not really looking at unemployment that much. We're not really looking at job data that much. Which weirdly enough, I think the Fed's not really looking at the job data either, right? They said they were mainly going to be focusing on the job data. Well, the job data, I guess technically they are by cutting slowly. Technically they are, but the market is having the opposite reaction. The market is just, the bond market is just saying, no, man, inflation, 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 tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. We don't know this. Confusion causes a lot of problems for investors. So how important could FOMC be? Well, do they clear up the confusion for a lot of investors? At least to their liking, right? We have our own theories on things. We're looking at our own signals, but it's just, do they actually say things to make people feel good about buying stocks, or do they do some things that would say, continue this downside, right? If they say, oh, we need to raise rates, guess what? People aren't going to like that, raising rates, right? But if they say, no, we're going to continue to most likely cut in 2025, whatever they want to say, hey, we're still looking to cut, then that could probably actually shoot us up. So that's how I see it going into today. Obviously, do I buy or sell based on that? No, I still want to see what the actual reaction is. If we remain in this area, and then they say something, whatever it is, and then we see that 30-minute curl up, where are we very likely to get to? Well, 594.23. If we continue that positivity into Friday, well, then we are likely to break out and get to 601.82. So I'm just going to pay attention to the direction. Right now, the direction is that way. When is FOMC? I'll try to get on a stream. I don't know if I'll be able to be 100% honest. I went live for like 40 minutes longer than I was supposed to the last 2 days. So I just gotta see if I have time. But the FOMC, depending on what time zone you're in, the FOMC is 2 hours before the close. The 29th of January is another meeting, I believe. But the FOMC minutes is today. I think there is an end of the month meeting though. All right, let's go see what's going on over here. Let's go look at some fun ones, huh? Let's click through these. Apple, still waiting on some time on that. Tesla, ooh, what are you trying to do, Tesla? Amazon, stop it, Amazon, you dirty dog. Nvidia, trying to get that curl up. But once again, guys, these are negative. Remember that. These 30 minutes are negative, so we will be paying attention to Lower highs, right? Ooh, Meta, holy buying pressure for Meta. That is kind of wild. Seeing Microsoft actually really close to this. I kind of like that one. Google finally getting that drop. That's what's funny is like some of the stocks that actually held up a little bit better, like AMD and Google actually saw these big drops. Meta saw a big drop this morning, so that's interesting. AMC really dropping off. Big gap down at the open here, seeing if that 2 hour crosses down. That would lead us to, oh, maybe some downside. GME as well, looking for if that 2 hour crosses down. Why? Divergence. Okay, we will not like that. We'll see if this thing can hold up. I wonder if the cat's going to tweet on the off day. I really do. He's tweeted on a lot of off days lately. DJT trying to curl down on the 2 hour as well. SoFi actually trying to curl up, it seems, on the 30-minute at this point. We'll see if that can boom to the upside. Then we can maybe go make a little bit higher move there. Palantir, really interested in this. Man, no reversal signals for Palantir outside of a weekly and just not looking good as of right now. Now, you are getting some good buying pressure down in this area. We'll see what happens from it, but this is going to be just a risky one. Gold actually getting a good uptick, which is funny because the dollar still showing strength overall, right? We're right back to where we were at the end of last week, right? Towards the end of last week, now we're right back there. So very interesting from the dollar. And then what is TLT showing us anything here, man? Look at TLT. That thing looks sick. Like not sick in the good way. And your divergences look like crap kind of down here. I mean, you have it, but man, I just don't think I'd put a lot into that. A lot of confidence into this divergence here. This might just be a weird reaction to the FOMC minutes. All right, let's go back over to the SPY and just see what this thing wants to do today. Seems like we're just holding up in this area. I will keep, let's put this on volatility on a 15-minute. See if that's going to turn up again. And then this one we'll have on the Qs on the 30 minutes. So actually, let's leave Qs on the 2 hour here so we can glance over and see if that's crossing down in an hour or two. Alrighty. Let's see what you guys are chatting about. Yes, Nicole. Nicole's got you on the timing. I'm just terrible with time zones. I always forget, like, it's Eastern time an hour before. I have to think about it for 7 seconds first. But I always just say, hey, 2 hours before close. But yes, awesome. Wolf tanking as well. Yeah, I had to get out of my wolf play yesterday. I had to get out of my wolf play. Remember, the 30-minute cross is up. Okay, we failed a cross up this time, right on the 15 minutes. So I just go, okay, I'm out of the play. And it's really vomiting there. 2 hour crossing, heading lower, heading lower. What's the downside move for this, actually? I don't mind some, for fun, YOLOs. And I was only able to break even on this, really. That's what sucks. It's like I caught the good upward move, but around this area I could only break even. It really never saw any premium value increase there. Oh, come on. Don't I have a level for Wolf somewhere? Okay, 625, so you got 25 cents lower than here. Oof. 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 That means IWM is probably suffering the most. Yeah, IWM suffering the most. SPY and the Q is still holding up relatively well, so it's just those small caps really probably not liking the fact that small caps will be affected by those yields going up. What are you guys thinking? RGTI is down. SPY may head to 585. Well, I think the key levels that you're looking at, I still believe the SPY was 585. I think you might be spot on with that. Let me go double check though. Above 590, good. Below 590, not very good. Right, we really gave up the key level pretty damn easily, honestly. Like, I see these little touches in here, but we really gave that up within a day. Like, that's kind of surprising. Oh, okay. Okay, I know I accidentally pulled up SPX, but 5870. 5870. So gap fill is where you have a huge put wall today, and 5,945. Like right here, so right at this high. So this is kind of like, hey, we got above, we broke through, but that's the call wall. And then here's your kind of put wall, and that's kind of where you're gonna see, hey, which one do you break? So it looks like for the SPX, I'm gonna go check SPY to see if we have similar levels. And I'll check the week as well, because I'm sure a lot of options moved. A lot of calls at 600 today, a lot of calls at 595 today. Why are there so many calls after yesterday? That's so crazy. 586. 586 and 580 look like the high points, so I'd say 586 for the SPY for today. Let's look if we have any levels for the week. Yeah, 585 is your obvious level, so you're calling that out correctly. 585 has the most amount of put contracts there. Put call ratio of 1.2116 as of right now. So a decent amount of puts. And people really dive in, man. People dive in for the 545 puts. A lot of 545. That's a lot of bearishness for the week, man. Like the lowest we're supposed to go, 582, and people have puts for 545. That's just crazy to me. Yeah, yields measured move is like a 5% pullback. That's what I'm saying. Yields look like they should have been coming down for a few days now. They're just not. And you can thank data for that, you know what I'm saying? Catch a fire's like, that's me trying to catch that fire, you know what I'm saying? The market seems to be crashing. Is it? I mean, you're still in the channel too. Like, that's why we're still kind of taking this, like, we can probably bounce even if we come down to this level. The chances are higher that we end up at an all-time high before we see a crash. I'm just saying that right now. Like, yeah, we can see the signals proven. What signals are we going to want to see? Well, one, you've gotten two kind of bad confirmations, I would say, because of the buying pressure. This would be a lot different, right? Wouldn't this be a lot different? That bar actually looks solid. And the other one is the Qs. The Qs have to cross down. So if the Qs cross down, that's when I'll start saying, okay, there is high potential, but you're probably going to still experience a bounce on Friday. I just think I don't want to say what I think, because I don't want it to convince people to do things. Like, that's not what this channel's about. But yeah, I'm not overly bearish still. I'll put it that way. I'm not really bearish right now. I made money on the way up. I had to manage risk. But I'm like, we just made a really strong base. We can make it a stronger base, or we could just go up today. We have a pretty big event. We have solid implied volatility. If you want to know the implied volatility for the SPY today, by the way. So yesterday, with all that selling, we were at about 15%. Today for the SPY, we're at 18%. Yesterday for the Qs, we were at about 20%. Today we're at 26%. 26%. So there is some volatility coming into this market today. We will see some kind of big move. That is the most likely thing with volatility that high. Implied volatility, that is. Now, what we could say from that is, are we just going to see, that's why I'm like, seeing this at the beginning of the day is very interesting, and I hope it's not this boring all day, but it could be. It genuinely could be. Because people could just now wait for the data, right? Data comes out right here. So I'm interested. I think it'll be a big moment. We'll see if it breaks you through the channel. We'll see if it breaks you through the top side. Are quantums going to go up? I mean, do they have reversal signals? That is true, Greg. I kind of respect you on that. I get it. But The 20 EMA, yeah, we're rejecting a few times here. That's not a good sign. But I just want you to understand too, though, we're in some form of consolidation at this point. It's just a more bear market style consolidation. Like you consolidate at lows like this all the time, where you see these rip arounds and it really fakes you out. But honestly, there's trades to be had here, here, here. Probably not so much there, right? But this is kind of what I like to see. Now, as we're still very bullish in the channel, I'm mainly only taking the bullish plays, but I'm taking profit on the way up, and then I can always leave those runners for if a squeeze does happen. But at the ultimate sign of things, has the daily crossed up? No, I could have been patient this whole time, right? Really, if you're looking at this and you're going, oh, we're crashing, it's like, did you think we were crashing, I don't know, here? Potential, but did we? No. Do you think we crashed here? I mean, that's a pretty steep drop pretty quick, right? It's correction. So I'm just saying, we're really bottling up here. If we want to head down, we're probably going to see the Qs confirm that on the weekly. If we want to head up, we're probably going to see this daily curl up in the next 2 days. That's what I think is probably going to happen. If we have more time to figure it out, I don't know why we would need more time after the FOMC minutes and after non-farm payroll and unemployment data. If we can't figure out a direction after all that, geez. Well, but okay, so you said if you go back a few years, the trend change happened when SPY rejected at the 20. Okay, now go through every single year for the past 50 years, or even I'll say this, go back for the last 20 years, 40 years, and tell me every single time there was a, say, 10% drop, right? Find every single time with a 10% drop, and then tell me that how many times. I need more numbers than just one time it happened, Greg. I'm not saying it didn't happen multiple times. I'm just saying I haven't looked. So if you're treating that as a signal for yourself, I would go back and look throughout 20 years and be like, hey, did this signal happen often, and what happened after that signal every single time? Because you might see instances where you rejected off the 20 twice and then you ended up at all-time highs, like half the time. So that's all I'm saying. If you could do that, I'd be super interested. I would be super interested. Okay, hold on here. RGTI dropped 50%. Whoa! Man. Do we love Divergence or what? The funny part about this is, and I'm not laughing. I really hope no one lost a bunch of money with this. But this is going to convince you once again, start reacting when you see things. Especially when you see things that are actually solid confirmations and actually saying, ooh, this is on both at the same time. Notice these divergences. Look at all those. Not on the MACD. When do we actually see the big drop? On the MACD, on the RSI at the same time, and you held every divergence point on the way down. Holy crap, I wish, oh my God, I should have freaking saw this yesterday, man. Shoot. And then you just wait for the good confirmation bar. Really, it's just in here. See a 30-minute. Never cross back up either. Oh my gosh, this is such a good trade. Holy crap. Oh, that's a bummer. I'm down 80% on my portfolio. Well, I'm sorry to hear about that. Follow the white rabbit. Try not to panic and just, I don't know what you were doing, if it was options or whatever else, but you're saying portfolio. So I'm kind of hoping it wasn't options. I think it's just a data reaction, not a crash. I think, Nicole, I think you got a good head on your shoulders. Shares, 80%. So I'm guessing it's shares of RGTI maybe, or something that's gone down dramatically. Well, that's unfortunate. Now, I mean, if we seriously look at RGTI, I mean, one thing to notice here, go to a daily. Let's see where those Bollinger Bands are at. Yeah, see, that's the unfortunate thing. This thing has skied and skied and skied for so long that this is your first daily crossover. And that signal at the top, when they're on the indicators at the same time, that's why I pointed out when they're at the same time, that can really cross over daily charts, and that's what you're seeing today. One hope you have here is top Bollinger, if you can reclaim that 20 soon. But overall, this, because of the Bollinger Band, man, that can go all the way down to 341 and make sense. Kind of hoping gap fill holds this thing up, because I know a lot of people have a lot of money in it. Ugh, that is not fun to see, man. Looks like right here is where you should test. We'll see what happens with it, but that's just going to be unfortunate. That's just falling off a cliff. There's not a lot of technicals you can do when you just see this. TLT falling wedge. I might have to look at that. Yeah, AMD, once again, this is just another reason I just think AMD is just not fun to trade. I mean, if I was trading this and I would like potentially go up to here, take some profit, leave some runners, I would have been excited for today, because with the bad data, you didn't drop off dramatically. With the bad data, you actually flagged in here, and so you're expecting that next move up. So that's why like AMD can be so frustrating. AMD can be so frustrating because it really looks like it wants to do something and then it just doesn't, or it doesn't do it well. And that's kind of the big deal for me with AMD. Now this is dropping to lower levels. You can look for weekly expected moves. You can still look if that 30-minute, if you're able to buy back up, I mean, these things are still near positive territory, but this is just something that I wouldn't want to be in at this point. And that's kind of why this right here and this right here is like why I'm not doing any plays with AMD anymore. Every play is complicated with AMD. If I wanted to, if I like the stock, I would maybe invest. That's about it. Would I take the risk on buying RGTI? I mean, you guys, with RGTI, you have a lot more downside that can come. I just want you to know that. The better thing to do is be patient and look for structure at this point. Like, it is, because your daily is just crossing. Your daily is just getting through that center line. You're already definitely outside of a weekly expected move for this. I don't know where it is. I can tell you you're outside of a weekly expected move right now. You're probably outside of a monthly expected move. This thing could buy up at any point. Your job is to make sure that it's a decent opportunity, right? If this thing's going to snap back, then you're probably going to see a 30-minute be able to go positive. Right, see this big drop? Now this is a massive drop, so this is going to be hard. This is a low, right? So even if you get a reaction here, you're very likely to see a lower high. You realize that, right? Like low, 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 low. I would say these are still potential lows, but actually at this point right here, you break that, you don't confirm the next move, and you drop. Now you have a lower low than all of this. So what does that mean? Well, if you really think about it critically, each one of those lows can be resistance. Each one of these can hold as resistance. So you got like probably like 4 zones to pay attention to now. Probably one starting right here. That's the first one that I see. Maybe we could make that a red zone in some way. No, we'll just make it white or whatever the frick we do. That's too great. And that's not it either. There you go. Something like this. Right? Like that. Like that could happen, but that's the thing. Could's the only thing I can say, right? I can't say it's probable. I can't say it's this. I can't say it's that. I can say this is a good move, and a lot of the time you want to retest something to fall down further. But if this thing's crashing, which 50%, 44%, yeah, that's a crash at that point. It could just keep going, and then you want to pay. This is actually the buy zone, I would say. See that gap right there? You're actually in it, but it's just like you don't want to. When I say buy zone, I don't mean a stock gaps 50% down into a buy zone and then I just blindly buy something. You know what I mean? I gotta see good things in my buy zone. It's gonna be a risky one. But sometimes the risky ones play out. You know, that's the weird part about the market. But me, I just like to stay pretty risk averse. Sorry, Brant, what were you looking at? Oh, SPY. Yeah, we can always go over the SPY. I just wanted to peek over at Nvidia, see if that thing was curling up. It's just like Nvidia. Nvidia only dropped 5%. It still is like a lower high could happen. And then we'll go look at some other things. SPY is very simple to me. Are we going to reach down for the 2 hour and really fake people out? Are we going to fake people out to the upside with some kind of 30-minute move that fails before FOMC? So it's kind of like, do we head down before FOMC? Do we head up before FOMC? And if we're up at FOMC, do you get good news to see something crazy, or do you get bad news to do one of these situations? One of these situations, right? Push up, gap down, push up, go down. That's all. Those are like the 3 scenarios I see this playing out. I highly doubt we're going to crash, but we'll see if that confirmation comes from the Qs. We'll see if we break through the channel, right? Look at FIT, the crypto, not the stock. Oh, the crypto. My bad, Universal, because I was wondering why you kept saying FET all the time. I was wondering why you kept saying it. I was like, I thought I looked at that. Yeah, it's just a minute. Sorry, I kept saying FOMC, but it's, yeah. Sorry, I know. It's just easier to say, guys. But yeah, we'll get the minutes, so maybe that can give some kind of direction or plan. I think this really is the crash. I just don't think so. I mean, the thing is, if you're going to see a crash, you usually don't see this much defense. Like, if you're going to see a crash, it's very rare to see this good of signals. Usually there's a problem with the signal. That's all I'm saying. I'm not against you. I think there is a percentage chance we can right now because of this, right? Because of the dollar. And yes, I will go look at FET in a second here. I just don't know what that is, to be honest. Like, because of this, there is credibility. There is credibility to you talking about it. But I'm just saying, this would be completely different daily structure than I think you have ever really seen at a market top. At a crash top, this would be very different, right? This does not look like 2020. This does not look like even 2017, 2018, when we saw that corrective move. This does not look like 2022 at this point. This doesn't look like 2008. I might have to go look at that again. Yeah, I don't think it looks like 2008. And it doesn't even really look like the dot-com bubble. So you just don't have the same structure. And this would be unique if it happened. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it is impossible. I'm saying, yeah, there's probabilities for a crash. I'm just saying this would be one of the most unique looks that I think we've had for a crash, in my opinion. Yes, it does. Okay, see, 2000. Did you notice I was really hesitant with 2008? I was like, 2008. I need to go look at it again. Yeah, it's hard to keep all that in my head. But yeah, I'll go take a look. But my thing about 2008, I'm gonna look right now. It's gonna bug me all day if I don't go look, because I want to be on the same page as Greg. I gotta go look, guys. Holy crap, we gotta go so far back. It was flat. See, it wasn't though. Oh, well, you had the higher move and it failed. You had the higher move and it just failed, but I don't see the flatness. Like, I don't see 6 days in here. Where's the 6 days in here? Is there... This is just we already confirmed downside pretty much after going to a higher level. That's where the weekly divergence kicked in. I don't see 6 days in here. I see retests of the highs. Maybe I'm not seeing it correctly. But I would more so just say, hey, this curled down. There's the bounce. We reject, right? If that looks similar, that just doesn't look like what we have now. This looks like a reaction. What we have, say right now, what we have right now isn't necessarily a big reaction. This is more sideways. This is way more sideways than there. Do you know what do you see what I'm saying? Last time it was like drop, big move up, drop. But we're getting too much chop to be the same. The flat was the end of 2007. Okay, I'll look at it more, Greg. I appreciate you bringing it up, man. I'm a nerd about it, so I want to go see it for myself and stuff. But I do appreciate you calling it out. Like, I do appreciate that because I want to know what it looks like. I'm not saying it's the same. Okay, then I'm just on a different page. My bad. The timing is okay. Hold on, let me read that. And oh yeah, short Fridays. Thank you for the $20. By the way, the crash is a generic term. A recession, I believe, is only a period of 3/4 of downward movement in a row. The market always goes up eventually over time. Lucas, can you confirm this? I mean, it depends. The reason that I think that this time it's not saying it's the same, it just rhymes. Okay, yeah, I like that phrasing, and I've actually heard that phrasing before. But you're kind of right. I get you. Let's just pay attention to the signals closely, and we should see a bearish signal if it pops up. You know what I'm saying? And I still need to look at FET. So one thing to point out with short Fridays here is he's trying to get me to confirm, hey, the market does go up over time. Yeah, you're right. It does. But the reason that I think that I know it's crazy to be like, hey, it could be different this time in some way. But my whole thing is, what if Trump actually does try to take care of the debt ceiling? What if Trump actually does get rid of a lot of government spending? Well, your inflation is kind of out of the window. That means these stocks are up because of inflation. I'm saying someone's coming in and saying they're going to change everything. If they change everything, then you would say, hey, maybe that wouldn't be as good. Now, I think that he's not going to change everything. If you want my honest opinion, I think he's not going to change everything, right? I think when this does unravel over the next year or so, I think, yeah, we do see this, but I think it will end up being a lot like this. Confusion. I think it'll be more confusion than anything. I'm starting to lean that way. I just really am, because I highly doubt Trump's actually going to implement things that do not save banks. You really think they're not going to save banks? They saved banks. They saved banks in 2008. They saved banks in 2000. They saved banks in even here. We see money pumping and stuff. So like, you'd have to be a believer. They're not going to pump money at all, and they're not going to save anything. That's when you'll actually see this. So I can't see that happening. Just going to be honest with you. I think you could go down to this level, but I think you're going to end up doing this, by 2029. That's just my thinking. They save banks. Do you know what, like, am I making sense? Someone tell me if I'm crazy for saying something like that. I can see what you're saying. Buyer strength, that support coming in at the moment, not seeing that at the end of 2007, just as a correction reaction, lower high. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. I'm right. Okay, am I making some kind of sense? Like, I'm just spitting this out because it's like popping in my head and I wanted to say it. But thank you so much for the $10 short Fridays. Trump will be deregulating. That's usually good for business. Let's go back into a 30 minutes so we're paying attention to this damn market. Taking the reins off of rules will help the market go up. A crash happens with more rules. We're entering an age of robotics with less overhead for corporations. I think you're spot on to point that out. Do you know what the funny thing about Amazon was? Do you guys think that Amazon cares about people? You want to hear something funny about Amazon? I'll tell you guys something really, really kind of fucked up, I'm going to be honest. And then I seriously got to look at FET for university. Actually, I'm going to pull it up on my other charts real quick. But FET, not the stock, the crypto. Ooh, big vomit there, but okay, daily might make divergence first. That'd be good. Let me go look at this in a second, but higher gap in wealth leads to unrest. I think we're in a period where we're going to see more confusion with tariffs and stuff like that in 2025. We're going to see a lot of chop, and we'll see if that chop pulls you back by 25%. Ooh, Suri's building a position there. Oh, you guys want to hear what Amazon said? Reels come in after the crash. Yeah. I think we have a chance to build this up like after a bigger correction to like 2029. Just saying. I just highly doubt they're not going to save banks. But I'll tell you guys what Amazon did with robotics if you want to hear. So Amazon had their employees go on strike. I think it was, I don't want to say what state because I don't know for sure. I just read about this over the weekend. And Amazon, Bezos, instead of like trying to work with his employees, he actually said, oh, thank you guys for going on strike. Now we can try out these robotics that we're going to replace you guys with anyway. Like, do companies care about their employees or do they just care about profits? At this point, with how things are, money means everything to people, it seems. So I'm just saying more companies are going to be like that because they have investors. You have big investors that want more and more and more money every single year. So how are they going to make money now? Well, probably put robotics in. But I don't know who's going to be able to buy their products if everyone switches to robotics. I just don't know how, like at the end of the day, consumer strength is a great thing. And if you have consumers that just have lower paying jobs and wages are never increasing and things are too expensive, well, unless those robotics are able to cut price dramatically. Housing market signal corporate real estate crash coming. Oh, we talked about that. We said that's a huge warning. The housing market's like, home builders are screwed. You want to see a monthly chart? Look at that guy. What do you think happens to the market after the monthly turns down? Let's see. And if we wanted to, you want to see something cool. If you want to, you can do this, by the way, to help out your RSI. I just don't do it. You can actually see monthly divergence at these highs with the RSI very easily when you put the yellow line in. You can see that crossed right here, January of 2022. The market followed. But if you go into the weekly, the housing sector did it first. This is crossing down right now. It crossed as of last week on the RSI center line there, or the RSI average line. And so you're just seeing, hey, downside, right? The signal line. You're going below it. It's not a good thing. And now you're confirming it on the MACD. Who do you think follows? Well, that happened in March. And then the full cross down on the MACD was technically in April. When did the housing sector confirm it? January, right here. Right here, the housing sector confirmed it, and guess what? It followed. So what's very likely to happen soon? Well, you could have a few months left, but seems like downside is the most potential thing on the monthly scale. That's all I'm saying. Like that is a very good thing. I'm super glad someone's looking at the housing sector or housing market in general, home builders, all that stuff. It's great. Do you know why? Why would housing, cars, right? I'm sure cars, autos may be doing the same thing. Maybe cars and housing. Why would those be it? Well, they would be the things to pay attention to early because those are the biggest purchases that someone makes. The biggest purchases you're going to make in your life. The number one is house. The number two is car. The number three is furniture. So if you look at those three indices and those are crashing in some way, you can say, oh, the market's probably going to follow. 625, 611. It hit 625. Damn, I'm glad I'm out in Wolf now. Holy shit, I sold that a little bit later than I wanted to yesterday, but my goodness, that is bad. Which is kind of interesting to me. Oh yeah, I was looking at FET over here. Weekly, not enough data. Let's do 4 hour. Did you make a strong base here? No, you made topping out signals for FET. So just looking at this, by the way, for you real quick, Universal, if you're still here. There you are. Okay. So one thing is you have the 2 hour reversal signal. Okay, very plain and simple here. Just like over here when you see the pullback, but you have it here again for maybe a pullback, but this time you have divergence kind of behind it, kind of flat, but downward on the MACD. So then when that crosses, you got to realize that is a reversal signal. And what you're looking for here isn't like, hey, this has to crash, right? Let's really talk about this, especially with crypto. What you're looking for here is, can it hold above the 5? Can it turn up again? Can it hold in positive territory? Can it turn up again? It never did that, so you never put money back in, right? That's how I like to do it. I like to be like, all right, I'm going to get out with the bad signal, let it do whatever it wants to do, right? Maybe it's sideways just like last time, and then I can take like the little confirmation up. Maybe I'll use the RSI since that was a little sooner, and then I'll take that and go, okay, upside. Awesome. Then I see this, and I go, oh, that's just the same as last time. Okay, downside. Maybe at that point I can look at a 4 hour and see if there's a reversal signal. You're not seeing it on the 4 hour. So what could happen here is you can be patient, and if that 4 hour curls up, you can see positivity. If you need to make a 2 hour base first, well, you might see something like this really quickly, right? But I just want to talk about how to treat this as it's going higher and higher and higher. Now you actually see the divergences there across the two highs, I would say, that created those reversal signals. And then you see that drop, you say, hey, that didn't hold up at the 5, so I'm not getting back in, and downside, right? 2 hour charts are pretty damn good for little movements like this. That's all I would really say about FET though. I think you gotta be patient with it. Dump SPY, dump SPY. Yeah, the 2 hour is suggesting in an hour and 15 minutes that the downside expected move is very likely. Rate cuts. I genuinely don't think they're in a spot where they can't cut rates. I'm just, that's my thinking. They have not said they were looking to pause with the data that they've seen. We're going to see what they say in the FOMC minutes. That's it. Well, how is Nvidia? So I'm going to ask you a question for Nvidia right now. Did a 30-minute curl back up? I'll look at MU maybe in a second here, Tom. We've been talking about it a little bit. Did the 30-minute for Nvidia curl up? I'm not even going to look at the chart yet. Nope, no curl. Awesome. So did you have any reason to react to an upside move? No. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but if this didn't curl up, then I'm not doing anything. This is why I don't use this yellow line. I like the MACD better. But you can use that if you'd like to, but it's just, it fails a little bit. Yeah, no curl up, no reason to buy anything. If I got in because of the maybe 15-minute divergence here, okay, awesome. Has that gone wrong yet? Well, it's a 15-minute divergence, so if the 5-minute curls down into negative territory, that's bad. So this at this point should be saying that's bad. In 4 minutes, if that doesn't hold and start to go up, that's bad. That means what? You have a chance to violate the divergences, right? If this kept dropping, it would violate this. It would violate this on the RSI. So that's why I like 30-minute charts. I think they're better charts. And this never curled up. Now you're seeing it drop dramatically. Interesting stuff. We'll still see. Right? Now there is a slight, very slight chance, right, that this 5-minute just goes like that. Right? Maybe you do see it curl down and it curls up. That's the risk of taking little 15-minute plays. You have to really pay attention to it. Meanwhile, I can just sit here and go, I like 30 minutes. If I get a 30-minute reaction off of this and I see this cross up, I see this maybe cross that center line too, hey, that would mean positivity. Did it ever cross up? No. But now on the 5-minute, weirdly enough, key level. Start to break above that, not bad. All right, let's go look. Emergency rate cut coming. Yeah, that's what I think, Greg. Man, I would like to sit down and talk with Greg. Also, I need to go work out, Greg. Your name always makes me think about that. It's just so damn cold. Yeah, let's go look at, I mean, the 10-year actually dropping off now. Now, this is a 30-minute. We don't really like that, but it is suggesting the 2 hour is going to get some kind of pullback here. If that's more than a pullback and the daily starts to cross down, that's going to be a big deal. We can take this off because we know the data is today, but if we can get some kind of news that makes these yields come down, I think it could be seen as positive for the market. It's kind of unfortunate, I think it's unfortunate that you have a shortened trading week this week, but got to pay our respects. I like it, study history. I genuinely, I'm not a big history guy. I'm really not, but I'm really interested to see how things behave in the past in markets. Like, that is historically something that I like. I should read more history. Same as the previous top. Or divergence similar. You have a very tight divergence here if this is the top you're talking about. I don't think you really have a similar one here. I mean, unless the 4-hour chart does have the divergence, so I think you're right to call this out. But at this point here, just notice that we made a ton of divergence throughout this. Right, the 4-hour was not a good indication of reversal here. You don't really have good reversal signals in here, like, because you do have them the whole time and they keep buying up. I wouldn't consider them good. That's why I think TLT was very tricky. So maybe you do need to see something with TLT. The problem with TLT right now is you can see it. You can see it, right? And it's there, but it's just I'm hesitant to have confidence behind it. The daily is where I want to be paying attention, and that's starting to get to where it's going to violate some stuff. So you need this to go up like now. So maybe today's FOMC minutes can do that. But yields, for the most part, I think I'm more with Greg. I think we're going to see an emergency cut before we see any rate raising. History's written by the victors. That's facts. I've read a lot about World War II that I did not know. Let's see if this 15-minute can curl up again, or if it's just going to go down and down and down. I just don't think. I think there's still too much neutral, too much fear. There, yeah, YS. I'm in the same boat. All right, we are seeing if those 15-minute divergences are gotten rid of. Looks like it so far. Let's go look on some other stuff here. Tesla, I think, had some. Tesla's still holding it. Slightly holding it. Nvidia holding it. AMD definitely not. Actually, Meta making it now between these lows, potentially. Microsoft not there. Google not there. GME, 15-minute divergence. We'll look for if the 30-minute crosses. 30-minute pullback here for GME is what some signals are suggesting. But you're still above the 5. We got to see if it gets reactions off it. I'd be a little more worried if the 2-hour crossed. Let's dump. I think Powell's going to panic soon. I think he's been panicking for a little while now. I think he psychs himself up in the mirror before going out there. That's what I think. Is Apple 30-minute curling up? If the 30-minute curls up, you have a reversal signal here. This is why I said pay attention to Apple. Apple does not look bad. GDX, yeah, we can take a peek at that real quick, Justin. We believe the market will stall for the rest of the week. Well, with this volatility that's been happening, it's very unlikely to just stall, meaning just do that, like really stall. I think you're still going to see rip around type stuff, rip around type stuff. If we're going to move sideways, we're going to move sideways in a pretty crazy way. Let's go look at GDX, gold miners. Some reversal signals popping up for the 30-minute, but proving to be not the best. So the 2-hour here, something to pay attention to. Rejection divergence at the low, very, very good. You probably have like hourly triple divergence here. Let me see. Nope, just an hourly divergence there. Confirmation bar here at 33.92 roughly. Solid upside move, but look at the hourly divergence popping up in the other way. So you got to be aware that this 2-hour could pull back in some way. That's what signals are saying, but if this can break through, that would be good, right? You violate those divergences, everything starts to change. Daily divergence confirmed, so very likely to be able to hold up well. That means pullbacks can be bought up. Drops can be bought up. Dips will be bought. That's what it seems like for GDX, which would incline me to believe that the dollar can still drop off here. Notice the dollar not beating the high. Not beating the high. This is what I'm saying. I think like, I kind of briefly said this in the video last night, but another day's worth of price action, another couple of days, by Friday, I think we'll know which way this thing's going to want to go. I think the signals will say, even if we haven't broken out of this, yet, I think we're going to see something good by Friday. Like we might see something like this and then be pretty obvious that, hey, we're going to head to there. Or we could see it in the opposite direction, right? We could end up seeing that. But if we start to make bases here again and see upward moves, I think it's very probable to see the direction before Friday, like before Friday's close. Negative on 30-minute for Tesla and no curl up. Hopefully that GDX was fine for you there, Justin. Let me know. Make sure that was helpful for you. Yeah, failing the cross up as of right now. Really, this or that? Yeah, that's how trading is. You wait for confirmations. You don't guess. This is a moment where it's this or that. Actually, it's not this or that. This is a moment where it's down right now. Down, down, down. Down, 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 down. That's what this is saying right now. But we're looking for the signal we need to react to. We're traders. We're not mind readers. We're using indicators for a reason, right? If you have indicators on your chart, you're using them for a reason. It's because you can't tell what's in the future. So you're trying to say, okay, let me do this, then I know what's probable for the future. Let me cross this up, then I know what's probable today. If that stays crossed up, then I know what's probable for the week. Like, if you don't understand this about stocks yet, it's this or that at all times. A stock can go up, a stock can go down at any time. But this or that up here, risk to reward, is very bad there. What time's RK tweeting today? Probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow night. Maybe. We'll see. Hey, solid for Nvidia. Right? Right now it's that for Nvidia. But this is what we'll pay attention to. You know what I'm saying, Mike? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm not trying to call you out or anything like that. I'm just trying to be like, you know, a trader is someone who genuinely is like everyone else. We have no idea where this could go at any moment. But we see signals that say, hey, this could go this way. This is higher probable. This is in positive territory. Hey, this is in a positive trend right now. And you're seeing the next curl up. Right? We really want to look at Nvidia. If it ends up curling up from here, what do you have? You have a very stable base. You have a very stable base. Low, higher low. If you make a low here, isn't it just another higher low? So what are you likely to do over the next few days if you confirm this as some kind of low? Probably test this high, go make a new one. That's it. Powell already should have raised the rates enough to where he's more comfortable with the cutting now. It'd make more sense, but hey, that's not my job. I just do my job. S&P, nothing bearish about it at all, just chop. Exactly, that's kind of what I'm getting at with all this. I'm trying to be like, if we take it into consideration, we're not even down to test these levels yet. Once we break these kinds of levels, once we break this very obvious weekly expected move, great weekly expected move, because that's exactly what you don't want to close below on a daily scale, most likely. Hey, thank you, Samurai. I appreciate that. The huge red candle is concerning, but I think it was a lot of things going on for Nvidia. And I kind of described the things going on here. This is where day traders take profit. This is also where weekly traders take profit, like options market stuff. Then you had a potential for, hey, people bought into the news. Sell the news event was also there. Then we also had bad data, bad reaction to the data, all at the same time. But if you're really thinking this is awful for Nvidia, you're still above the 5-day moving average, right? You're still testing that right now is the better thing to say. So you can think that this is horrible, but you could also see it might be an opportunity, right? If it's not going to be an opportunity, then you're not going to see that at all. If it's going to be a failed opportunity, you're going to see maybe positivity that leads to downside, right? That is what the 2-hour is suggesting. The 2-hour is suggesting you have more work to be done. But if we hold at the 5, we just have another trend move. Yeah, you had big orders come in for SPY and the Qs down in these areas, down in these areas. We'll see. My average buy price is $11. You're crazy, Catch a Fire. See, see, some people coming in just being like, you guys, we're going to new all-time highs. I mean, that is still my assessment at this point, right? This 2-hour crosses will be off that for a little bit, right? But right when it goes back up, I'm back to saying it, right? Back into it. Hey, David, thanks so much for subscribing today, and thank you guys for the donations as well today. That was very, very kind of you. 2-hour head and shoulders on the Qs. Let's see if we can fill in the zone here. Yeah, and this is kind of where I'm talking about. If you're talking about inverse, if you're talking about head and shoulders this way in some way, I could see that. Really, do these highs really connect that well? No, you gave it up. It's unfortunate. See if we can break that. I just think if you're looking for head and shoulders, I think it's the head and shoulders that was supposed to be made. We go up out of a zone, we go back into a zone, we break out of the zone. That would all be good things. This is how you like to get out, like to really get some good price action upward, is you retest in the zone. So I'm just not that worried about it, right? When I'll worry is this, right? Weekly starts to cross. Look at that. That's really, really bad, right? That's when I'll start to worry a little bit more. But remember this. Remember, every time we say this, I don't think people really listen, but we'll say it. We'll say it again. You have 2 days of price action now. You have today, and you have Friday. And I think people will still be looking into stocks at like 8 p.m. Eastern time or whatever, whenever the market opens tomorrow night. I think you're going to see some interesting things today, especially at 1 o'clock. And I think you'll have your answer. If we're like this at the end of the week, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying we're probably heading down, maybe even to the next buy zone. Maybe we're going to head down to the bottom of this little channel line down here. Right? We keep violating the upside of my channel. Not nice. But I'm not someone who likes to move my stuff to make it look better. I'm like, hey, that's the channel I see, so that's the level I'm going to look at. I'm just saying, this will tell you a lot. But right now, we're looking at the shorter time frames just going, hey, can this bounce out of this zone? Because what I see is the shoulder that should have been being created. Remember when we drew up this? We said left, left, maybe it includes this, but head, right shoulder. That's what I was looking for. But I was looking for it to stop here and do that. Instead, we went way too high up, and now you're getting the flush. But I don't have any reversal signals, so I'm still just like, If we're anywhere close to that center line, I'm going to pay attention to upside. We're still in a bullish trend on the daily and stuff like that. Option prices will be based off of today's closing. That's man, yeah, you actually need an uptick from bonds. You need an uptick from TLT. And that coincides with you need the yields to drop down. This is why I think IWM is suffering the most. Really, I thought IWM was going to bottle up and see that good reaction, right? DIA as well, going down to actually, I don't think that's the proper weekly expected move, so maybe ignore that, but going down to the zone again. But IWM, I really figured this was going to be good, and then it breaks, and it breaks, and it breaks. So just shows why managing risk is so important. Now you're getting a 2 hour to cross down. First one's on the last bar. This bar is really important, and you got 57 minutes left. If this doesn't buy up in 57 minutes, it's very likely you're going to go out of this zone for a little, or you're going to go out of the weekly move for a little bit there. You go out of the weekly move for a little bit there. Well, do you make a reversal signal? That's the first thing. Well, I'm going to want to pay attention to these levels on the RSI. Oh, don't want to click that. Right here. Sorry, wifey came down. But like also you could say, hey, there's bearish things here too. Is this flagging? Now you're breaking it. Sorry guys, had to take a second there. Yeah, and if we keep our eye on volatility, we have that up here. Just looking at the 15-minute, can that confirm up? Or are we going to start to actually pull down? Are we going to curl down this 30-minute? But look how positive the 30-minute is, so we're aware of the easy trap. So now we might get that reaction. Do we get a big one all the way up to here, and then data or FOMC minutes comes out as good? Yeah, Greg, and that's for sure. And there's already inflation readings coming in a little bit higher, right? Just a little bit higher, and people are like, that's not good either. So that mixed with tariffs is a bad thing. And that's just the confusion. That's what I'm talking about in 2025. We could see a crazier market in 2025 just because there's going to be more confusion around the deregulation, around tariffs, around everything. Universal Code is like, it's not rocket science, just sideways consolidation at a top. Seems like that to me, and we'll see if it breaks up or breaks down. I think this is built to get you really, really bearish. I think this is really going to get people bearish. And hey, right now I'm kind of right. You know what I mean? Like, right now they're getting pretty bearish. But there are reasons to be bearish. I can see it. I think that's great. But it's just, that's why the video yesterday was, are you reacting? Because if this turns to bullish, are you reacting? That's going to be the big deal. FOMC comes out at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours before the close. Someone quote me if I misdid that because I'm terrible with times. Exactly, Dave's actually spot on. I just read your first sentence and I know you're going to spit facts. I think rate cuts, or I think rates dropping initially will be the catalyst for the last rally, but when it just keeps dropping, market will begin to worry it's dropping for the wrong reasons. That's what I'm saying. I think you're just spitting out good stuff there. They are not in a position to raise at all. Do you guys realize the housing market's reacting to the rates where they're at now? If you raise now and the rates actually continue to go higher, do you know what happens to your home builders? Those companies go out of business soon. They're already stopping projects in states like Texas, Florida. Someone tell me another development state, but the one that has a lot of development happening in it. But those two states alone are already telling you it's very sick. Man, when I look up, when Fed meeting, it shows January 26, January 27. How is data released today? It's the FOMC minutes. I'll double check. Yeah. Yeah, it's just FOMC minutes. And like what the overall like what the FOMC minutes does is tries to give you some kind of outlook. Like, that's the simplest way to think about it, right? It's where you get some of like where a lot of the members are kind of at and what they think they should do going forward, and to give some outlook for investors and or what they're going to do. Wolf hit a 27-year low. Holy fam. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I looked at the short sale theory yesterday and it had turned down pretty dramatically, which means they're not doing much here. You're not seeing short covering or them fighting the stock, weirdly enough. Aruman, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate you being here. 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, Noah. See, Noah's got my back. What about small position on UVIX? I just don't see it. You know, the position time. Remember, short Fridays was really like, yeah, I see volatility really coming back in. Am I crazy? And I'm like, no, because you're seeing this, right? Well, this is what we pointed out at the beginning of yesterday. This is how volatility comes back in, and it happened. So this was the time to maybe take those calls on volatility. Now you have the opposite signal. So you're kind of not to call you out or anything. As far as UVIX goes and building a position, I'm just saying now you have reversal signals popping up for downside for volatility, right? So what does that mean? That means we're most likely going to see maybe an uptick in markets and downside for volatility. Does that mean the selling's over? No, but it might mean you get a pullback here, and if that curls up, right, you don't break through, you just curl back up. That would mean, volatility is probably going to go test 20, and we'll see what happens. I closed my VIX position from yesterday. See, that you're reacting to signals, and that's the good part. If you're reacting, that's great. You even got a little bit of extra downside for a little bit there. So now you're waiting for the next opportunity. It's a great, be like, thank you for the great trade. That's it. Now, I didn't play volatility this time. I genuinely didn't expect this much selling. But did it hurt me? No, my risk was out of the market by that point. That's the important part. Taking profit, looking for the runners to work. They didn't get out. That's what I do. Short trade setup. Let's go. Yeah, I think it was VIX on the monthly. What was it doing? Oof. Not good. Daily, right? If this is turned up today, this is why today's a super important day, in my opinion, right? Super important thing. And someone saying patience, and the other one right above it saying Apple. The two things that we were saying together about Apple was what? Patience. This is an opportunity possibly showing itself. Now, you have to understand with this look, with this signal, any signal that you're looking at that you think is good right now, make sure you are watching it at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching it with the FOMC minutes. There is a larger amount of implied volatility today than yesterday and the day before. So be ready with your plan of how you are ready to react. Is it, hey, if I see this 30-minute cross up and the 15 minutes going and going and going, and then that 15-minute curls down, am I out of the play, right? Make the plan. If this goes like that, curls up on a 30, you take it, and then you go, okay, now I'll watch this around 1 p.m., and that starts to curl down, or it just curls down on this MACD. Where are you? Negative territory. It's not a good sign, right? Have a plan. That's all I'm saying. VIX, are we on 15-minute? There we go. I think we're seeing if the 30-minute will cross now. Starting to try, but not the best bar just yet. IWM going down to the weekly. See what happens with that bad boy. That bad boy. Bad boy. Copper looks interesting. Copper's been kind of in an interesting spot. That looks like it could see an upward reaction. October low, you can see that the top is at 6320 or so. S&P, I think that would line up. I mean, it's going to be different from the SPX to the SPY, but it probably lines up with top of channel in some way. Yeah, 630 makes sense. End of January. That would mean we're going to see a boom in January, maybe going into February. But we are taking our time here more than I thought, so this could leak into February, actually. We'll see. what were we looking for from the SPY, right? We were looking for a more significant divergence. We actually have it on the RSI. I just don't think you have it on the MACD. You had it on the MACD here. So I'm sure if I went over to SPX, it'd be something like that too. Hope everyone's crushing this market. Yeah, positive vibes. Let's go. Crush this market. React, guys. Nothing to react to right now, but waiting. Just took some UVIX profits started the other way to SVIX. Nice, dude. Martial law, you really, yeah, man, you come in and you say that all the time. You love your UVIX, you love your SVIX, man. You just do that all day. That's awesome. FUBO was interesting, right? We talked about that a little bit yesterday. Dude, I'm excited. That's good. I'm glad you're excited. Positive vibes. And if you're in control, it's much easier to stay positive. VIX is 50% of what I trade. It's pretty reliable. Yeah, I love VIX trades. I like Apple trades too, though. I'm not gonna lie. Apple's my most traded stock. As far as like say shorting, if you will, VIX calls are probably when I'm taking downside a lot of the time. It's just like if we're not in a confirmed bear market, I'm just playing volatility for a couple of days. So I didn't take the last one. I should have. You know, you always look back and you're like, man, I should have, but I didn't. Did I lose money? Nope. So I'm not that bummed, you know. I could sit there and be like, man, if I would have just took profit on those runners. But no, I was leaving the runners in case we kept squeezing. I could be bummed about that if I want, but no. I'm just going to be like, hey, I made money. Got to be happy with that. If the account's growing, you should be happy. Like the stream, y'all, and good morning. What up, Polar Bear Man? Whenever I read Polar Bear Man, I think of Man, Bear, Pig. That's funny, martial law, just finding your little system to make little monies there. Meet me behind Wendy's. I'm gonna give you some info. Wendy's? That's so random. Wendy's. Holy shit, remember when Wendy's actually used to have a good spicy chicken sandwich? Man, those were the days. Carmen eating the treasure chest. Oh, man. Some of the new stuff from South Park, though, like the Ozempic thing, I was like, that's not funny. Like, it's not that I'm like, I can't tell it's a joke. I'm just like, it's not like offended not funny. I'm just like, I just didn't think it was like, it did not make me laugh. That's it. Market direction, I make money either way. And that's the best way to be, Greg. That means you're in control, right? If you're in control, it really feels better. PC Principle was great. Oh, PC Principle was great. Loved Wendy's spicy chicken before Chick-fil-A moved into PA. Bro, Wendy's back when I was in like high school was like our go-to. The spicy chicken sandwich was like actually spicy, actually big and nice and crispy. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Now, now I'm like, kind of a buzzkill. I did see some people talking about this stuff, Big Bear. Very interesting. No confirmation from the 30-minute for any kind of upward move. You really thought you were holding up pretty well here. Left head, right shoulder, not in the direction of the trade or of the trend. Very interesting, but you lose the 5, you retake it, you curl back down, and that's not too positive of a move. So that should tell you this is a warning sign saying, hey, we could pull back and continue the positive trend if we can curl back up, but you just never curled back up. So you're gonna keep dropping, and most likely up at these levels, what do you see? You see 30-minute divergence, which means a 2-hour is pulling back. So you're looking for where this could base out, and really you have kind of funky zones here for this one. So what I'd mainly pay attention to is, well, actually these wicks right here, this little box is what I would draw. I'd say if you can hold up in there, that'd be decent. But you really got to see some basing out. Your 30-minute is really, really deep now, so this might take some time. See if it can carve out a base. We trade like water, you know what I'm saying? Check on the dollar real quick. Dollar's still moving up, man. Actually consolidating on the shorter time frames, but we're just paying attention we're paying attention to, does the daily cross? Does the daily cross? I mean, if we really look at this kind of logically, we're going even in the near term, bam, right there. We have it kind of flat all the way across, if not a little bit down, and then flat from this point right there. So I'm still seeing if this will drop down. Gold is kind of suggesting that that should happen, by the way. The way gold, GDX, we checked on GDX and GLD, both of them seeing upward moves, I believe, right? GLD up right now, so very interesting for that. You would expect some, the dollar dropping off, gold would like that. So it's interesting gold moving up is all I'm saying. 30-minute RSI divergence on SPY. No divergence for the SPY. And the way you can clear that up is just go back off just a little bit. Do you see it on the 15-minute? And I would say if you're counting this right here, this is just going to be a little 5-minute stuff, and it's actually lower. That's still lower, so you have like no divergence there. Now you can pull up like futures in some way, right? Futures might be able to clean this up. Holy crap, one thing that futures is showing here. I really hope this isn't the case, because that would be very interesting. That'd be kind of crazy. But yeah, you're seeing this. Now this is super weird to do, I think, on the futures, but hey, that 30-minute crosses, it's a good thing. So it just adds some validity too. Hey, the SPY can still go positive if the 30-minute crosses. It's just going to take some work now. You've gone down a little bit of time. We go into 5,000, you think? Maybe eventually, but I don't think right now. 40 minutes left. So the next 30-minute bar is going to be really important. Unless we get a fake out or something, that 2-hour crossing would suggest here is the most likely scenario. I would actually not say that the shorter time frames look extremely bullish. I think your daily time frames actually are still looking pretty damn good, right? If you're looking at tech stocks and you're seeing this daily chart, you're going, what's everyone worrying about, right? This right now has more good structure in it than right here. It still had good structure here, but it has more good structure here. So really, in the daily's positive trend. Positive trend. So we're looking for, can this make a move, right? If we get a lower high, I'll be paying attention, but can it make a move up to there? But you still haven't gotten the confirmation of it. I mean, the RSI keeps trying to do it. That's why, like, if you look at this is why I don't put this yellow line on if you see people with that yellow line, because we keep like going up above it just barely and crossing back down. And we did that right here as well. And right here as well. And right here as well. That's why I don't like this. I more just look at the RSI for a little bit more confirmation of what's going on with divergence. Is it above the center line? So we'll see. You got 30 minutes. The next 30-minute bar is really important. The weekly has some bad divergences for sure. But the weekly is, I mean, overall, it's still in a positive trend. We haven't seen good enough confirmation for the Qs, I would say. Oh yeah, that's a huge deal. Where is Gamma for today? I mean, I think it's right around, what, 59.50 maybe? I don't know, it's always moving. If we get a positive bar here on the 30-minute, that'd be interesting. Like, not here on the next 30-minute bar. That would be really interesting. Sid, what level you got? You got to tell us, buddy. up now, in my opinion, I still was leaning towards that reaction to the upside. I think you are at risk of one of these moments. So the key thing is, something that would be different here is, do you actually cross up the MACD, and does it actually go positive? Because here you crossed up, you went negative. Here you crossed up, you are negative. Here you did not cross up to potentially go positive. And you're around that same area now. So very interested to see how this behaves before FOMC minutes. 593 for SPY you got. Yeah, I think the important level from the options that I was looking at was here, right at this high towards 592, but oh, here we go. Uh-oh. Yeah, we'll see if it continues. I mean, yeah, if you really take into consideration almost everything, Goonie, closing price will be the most important thing for everything. What? Well, we're paying attention to this. The next 30-minute bar on the SPY really matters. So I was wondering if positivity comes in right before this tries to cross and confirm downside. It can still be a fake out, but it is more likely to see this go down to the daily or weekly expected move. If this 2-hour just confirms like this right now, that would be a pretty good confirmation. So I was seeing it, or like when it was down like this, that'd be a great confirmation that you're going to head down to these levels. But because we know there's 36 minutes left in the bar, we can look at this 30-minute and say, man, this market probably needs to buy up now, or else you're at risk of going to a downside daily expected move and the downside weekly expected move. What a day, what a day, what a day. So we'll see. One thing I'm worried about more so is IWM. I think IWM really needs positivity now. See, like this, because it happened at the last part of the day on a positive bar, can't read into it too much, but notice the downside still came. And now we're getting that wick up. So this might be, hey, reach down and find those buyers at the low. See if the 30-minute can turn back up and then hold 222.60, right? We need to hold 222.60. I can tell you right now, IWM, I don't have a daily expected move for the day, but I can tell you right now, it's probably past one at this point, because that's a pretty big move. In fact, I'll just use yesterday's implied volatility and just see what the range would be if it kept the same. What was the open for today? Closing price 222.75. If we kept the same implied volatility, we can't take these levels too seriously, but it would say about 220 is very important. 220. But that's just that's an estimation at this point. That's not a calculated hard number. Okay, I don't have the correct implied volatility at the time when I was supposed to make it, so that's just an estimation, 220. Shit, my other charts. I'm still looking at FET on my other charts. I gotta go look at Apple. How's Apple doing? Ooh, Apple doing good, huh? Oh, positive sound. How do we think? Sound? Ooh, not good. Ooh, man. Hey, the good part is, ultimately, where are you testing? Breakouts, right? Testing breakouts. If you can find a base down here, that'd be good. Daily still very positive. You could take your time with it, see a daily curl up, and then, you know, see some upside if that's going to, you know, be there, and you got to make sure you're managing risk. But notice the 2-hour pretty negative here. 30-minute, very negative here with no reversal signal. So this is a risky one just to jump into. But if you know, you're investing, you have your key levels that you like, I get it. But yeah, there's no signal for this turning around right now. If it did, that'd be impressive, and I'd look for that 2 hour to cross that center line. That's what I'd be looking for, probably, because then the daily's very likely to cross. Really? Oh my gosh, Palo Alto. We haven't looked at this in so long. Oh, God. Oh no. Bad divergence at the lows here. See how it's on the MACD, not on the RSI? So you got to be aware of failures. 30-minute, that's where it failed, really close to the center line. You got to be reacting to that. And then anything down here is going to be risky. We need to see something up towards the center line. Man, that's not a good look. All right, in 2 minutes, we're going to start that 30-minute bar. The next one's really important. What do I think of Bitcoin right now? I think one thing that I definitely think is Bitcoin is being used for something funky. I'm really like flash crash over here. I know it's crazy. I get it. But I think they're really doing some funky stuff with Bitcoin, and you would say meme stocks. I do think that's happening. I wasn't a believer in it at first, and then I've just seen it too many times. Like, look at yesterday, like when the selling came in at, like, say 2 p.m. or sorry, 2 a.m. Well, just a few hours later, right? You're seeing these big drops come in the morning. Well, it's like, what were the two stocks that were positive? These guys. I am a believer in that a little bit. I don't think there's anything to do really with trading around that. I think it's just something to look for. Now, as far as where is Bitcoin going? Well, it saw a great move, right? Made a great base. We talked about that on the 4 hour. Made a great base, turned up. Did the daily confirm up? Yes. If the daily confirms down, bad, right? Really bad. This is one of those first signs of confirmation, right? You have the RSI going below the center line. You have price action below the 9 and the 5. But if we can start to curl up and see this thing build up, well, you might just be making that low, a high. If you look at a 4 hour, it's more like this, right? A low. Honestly, you wouldn't even really say these are lows in here. You'd say high. Maybe it needs to reach down to make that next low. I think if the 4 hour can turn up, Bitcoin's back in business. This is where still we just reacted too quickly outside of these levels, I think, and you're really seeing that big dip down just to curl back up. I really think that at this point, but until it's proven, I have to just say I think. It'll be very nice to say, like, hey, this is probable. 30-minute did or is crossing for volatility pretty aggressively here, little bit. Down now 1.86% in 20 minutes. We have 9 minutes left in the bar. SPY starting to see this bar form. This is going to be the important one, so we'll watch it here. Hey, Marshall, thank you for the $5. Appreciate you, buddy. There's something you want to look at? What happens if the Vixen goes up? Volatility will increase. You'll see more rip around moves, and that if the SPY has a downtrend, you can keep seeing a downtrend for if VIX wants to scale up even more. Needs to be very manipulated, unregulated, not to say stay away, but be cautious. That's why I used to trade Bitcoin, but I've traded Doge a little bit, but I really only did like daily cross ups, like with divergence behind it. I would only do like daily divergence. I'd take weekly cross ups and hold on to it for like 2 months. If I see a reversal signal, I'm out. Is it better to stay away from quantum stocks? Well, just depends. I mean, a lot of these are vomiting right now. Let's look at IonQ vomiting. So now these have been going up and up and up for a long time. You're always at risk of this. And so like here, remember here, we were calling out IonQ is probably about to see a pretty decent upward move. Right in here, we saw these little things in here and said, hey, that could be a double bottom, so you could see an upward move. But be careful as you go higher and higher. Let's take it this way. Let's say the water is 2157, and you're climbing up that rock cliff to jump off, and you're like, ooh, that was fun. Well, every single time that you drop, the drop should get bigger. So the fact that these weren't very big, and then you get up higher, well, how far is the drop to the water now? You kept climbing, 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 and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna jump in the water. Bam. Learn a lot every week. Hey, that's awesome, Jari. I just hope to be helpful, my dude. Thank you for saying that. I'm just saying, it's just you have to know that these things were due for a big daily pullback. You had to see this RSI at some point, right? Whether it was here, here, here. So you had to see this at some point and go, okay, this thing can't go up forever, right? But if you're a long-term investor, you're probably just like, hey, is the weekly cross down yet? No. Like, look at the weekly. It's at the highest point it's ever been. So, like, would I be holding on to this? You know me. I like to take my profits. Yeah, Noah, and that's fine. But something you have to understand now is those plays are not going to be, as many of them, they're not going to be the same. So you want to find stuff that's a little bit better. I can tell you right now, my dad's probably shitting his pants this morning. But that's the benefit of looking at stocks and understanding momentum and understanding risk. Actually, let me look at IonQ again. I mean, when did this move start? January 30, okay, 30. So you have this. January 2nd at 8:30, so right here, all the way up to here. 22%. Do you think we most likely ran into a weekly or monthly expected move? Do you think we ran into a monthly expected move for this? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think we ran into a monthly expected move? Because 22%, most likely, yes. So most likely, yes. And what do we notice about Nvidia? Well, what happened to Nvidia when it hit a weekly expected move? Bad things. So this might be a learning opportunity for people to actually treat monthly and weekly expected moves very seriously. Yeah, we can look at, what is it, TLRY? I don't know, there's so many tickers in my head all the time. Ooh, hold on, what were we drawing up? Okay, we're drawing up, looks like we drew up some kind of divergence here. Looks like the divergence formed, and it looks like you're consolidating. So if the daily crosses down, bad. Where are you consolidating is pretty important here. Not the best look for the 2 hour, first off. The daily, I think, is at risk of crossing down, but you are trying to hold up in the area where you're trying to really get above, and you're breaking back down into it again. So you got to say, you know, above these highs, good. Probably below these lows in here, below this one in here, bad. And you can just see that from the, maybe even the 4 hours showing us something here. Not the closest to the center line. I would say daily crosses down bad, but that might take a few days. You could still lose money for a couple of days before that happens. So I think what you're looking for here is the 2 hour to just stay positive or stay very close to the center line and curl up. It might mean risk out, risk back in. Earnings around, wow, earnings is right there. Oh shit. Earnings on Friday, gonna be a sketchy business. That's a skeptical one, let's put it that way. All right, this 30-minute bar is important, and right now we're not seeing that upside, so. I actually caught that blip 30-minute divergence on IOQ. Did it make you make a decision? Did it encourage you to make a decision? Keep this on the 15-minute in case we curl back up. 2 hour for the Q, still confirmed. 30 minutes still giving it up. So this is where, hey, we only have a few minutes left, and that's saying, hey, I'm going to point directly down towards these levels. Sold after a 10% move. There you go. I mean, that's the thing. If you take the course to learn how to make a monthly expected move, you are probably at a monthly expected move with reversal signals for IonQ. It's a 22% move, so it most likely did have a monthly expected move in that area. I'm just short QQQ. I mean, I think you're at risk of making the next 5-minute downtrend move. Right, you're seeing the buyers try to step in. You're just not getting big enough players to step in. If that 2-hour does confirm, it's very likely you're going to end up down here. Doesn't mean you have to, but it's just what's likely. Unless it's going to swing right back up, right? But we would need to see 30-minute confirmation to know it's going to swing back up, and we're not getting that. If this 5-minute curls down again, you're kind of worried about it. I just don't think, for the way I like to trade, I'm not trying to trade something little like this. I like to wait for good basing out structure, be patient with it. That's why I only see a few trades, maybe like 1 trade a week during these times. $5.34. Nvidia 2-hour still saying more downside is likely, but you're starting to carve out probably a lot of things on the 15-minute here. You don't want to drop, it seems. It seems the support wants to come in, but you just have too much downward momentum right now. You're going to need something that changes that. Maybe it's FOMC minutes. What do I need to see weekly on the SPY? Like, to potentially see like weekly confirmations? I want to see it on the Qs. So they're relative to each other, but for the SPY weekly chart, the only problem I have with this one was just, if I'm going to see serious support come from the 20 and then say that things are going to crash, I would be wrong a lot more times than I would be right. Let's just put it that way. Like a lot more times. If I said, oh yeah, this is going to crash now on this bar, it's a overall, you're seeing major buying pressure. So would you really want to be calling out a crash when there's major buying pressure? Is this a confirmation bar in some way? Yes. Is this a confirmation bar in some way? Yes. I'm just saying they're not very good confirmations. If I see this actually red here by the end of the week, I'll be a little bit more convinced, right? But I mainly want to see the Qs. Give me that. This is why I'm saying this week could be very important. You just saw that big buying pressure come in last week. Can we get buying pressure to come in at slightly higher levels this week? For right now, the 2-hour is saying it wants to go down. Right? You're really enjoying the channel. Keep up the good work. Hey, thank you so much, Yoda. I like the name. We got a bunch of baby Yodas around. AMD got downgraded. That's what, okay. That makes some sense there. Daily on the VIX is positive. You are correct. And that's why today is a very important day, Sid. You know what can get rid of that? FOMC minutes. You know what can make that get worse? FOMC minutes. That's why we're going to react. But it sure has been spot on lately. What kind of counter are you on right now? Are you on the rejection of fifth wave on wave 5? I don't know Elliott wave. I really don't. Like, I understand, but I just don't understand it to be able to use it, if that makes sense, Greg. Like, what would Elliott? I wonder what this would say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any honest expectations for the FOMC reaction? If I was talking about the psychology of the market right now and how they could probably hurt the most people, you're going to see a good reaction. If we're not at that point where not enough people are confused, then I think you see a bad reaction initially and a good reaction on Friday to data. But those are all thoughts. Notice it's, I think, language is important, guys. I think. Some people think they're a cat. Okay? You can't go off of, you can't trade off of I thinks. You need some hard things to go off of. That's why we have the reasons to take a trade, right? 3 to 5 reasons in the course, that's what we say. That's how you take a trade, right? Give yourself some confidence with hard things in the market. Weekly expected move, reversal signals, MACD crossings, RSI getting above that center line. That would always help. Lux Algo has it. I used to use Lux Algo. I didn't find it the most useful. The thing for me, an Elliott wave is like, how do you know when waves are going to stop and waves are going to begin? It seems more to me the Elliott wave people that I've seen have to call it out after it happens. So I'm like, how do you have a trade strategy around something you call out after it happens? That's all I'm saying. Is a 1-2, 1-2 move. We are starting C wave down for the first A wave. Okay. That's the other thing too. There's counts. There's like, isn't there like, there's like 3 trends going on at the same time, if you will. They speculate on fib levels. Oh, okay. So I know what they're doing. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Actually, maybe I don't know what they're doing here. Oh no, I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna butcher this if I try. You guys, I'm gonna butcher it. Come on, guys. Don't make me blush. Don't make me get embarrassed during my own stream. I can't. I'll butcher the crap out of it. Oh man. UNH, United Healthcare. I wonder what that's doing since the pretty much assassination there. Well, 30-minute curled up, positivity. Nothing at the lows, but solid move here. See, when it's close to the center line, you feel pretty good about it. Daily's going to get more of a reaction, maybe to test the first breakdown area towards 545. This first move is a flat. Damn, now I'm going to go like research the crap out of it. Elliott wave, so interesting, but for me, I don't know why. It's like I won't let myself learn it, if that's a weird way to put it. Like, I want to, but it kind of bores me, if I'm being honest, but it's probably cool. The thing, whenever I've heard someone that actually produces content about Elliott wave, I'm always just like, they're like, it could be here, it could be here, it could be here, it could be here, it could be here. It could also be doing this totally different pattern. And that pattern could be here, could be here, could be here, could be here. So maybe I'm just not seeing very good Elliott wave people. Exactly, Lurkin Luke. That's kind of how I am. I'm just like, whatever. This is a bad drop. You're very, very negative. So most likely you will find rejection at some point, unless this keeps going. But you'd probably have to take back to 200. Very pretty good rejection level here. Right, you use these little lows in here, that might become some resistance. You actually had a gap in that level too, so probably 549, 550 is where I would have to guess. If this remains positive and nothing goes wrong, right, then you would say something like that for a retest would make sense for UNH. But that's very simple. There's not a lot to talk about with that one, to be honest. It's just not enough going on yet. Harmonics, yeah. I've seen that, what's his name, friggin', oh gosh, who uses harmonics all the time? Isn't it that GME dude? That GME dude, he does harmonics all the time. So why'd the market take a dump today? You just see continuation from yesterday, most likely. Is it really taking a dump today? 0.13, 0.12, 0.14. IWM did, but IWM makes a lot more sense because the yields were going, whoa, wait a second. The yields are trying to top out here. Interesting. TLT might be liking that, huh? Ooh. All right, maybe we should pay attention to this a little bit. Hey, there's the point too. Where's our moves here for TLT? How am I sleeping on TLT? I like TLT. Oh yeah, oh nice. Okay, weekly expected move coming into play. Almost the monthly. Monthly almost coming into play. Not bad. Not bad. Looks like the yields are trying to drop off now. So technically, IWM should be bouncing. It's trying to. Oh wait, this is my Q's chart. Sorry guys, I'm clicking around a bunch. Yeah, it looks like quantum stock's really suffering today. Soundhound, I'm in the green. Let's go, Marco. Happy to hear it. When you might go to Patreon chat? Yeah, I'm thinking of how to do it correctly. I kind of want to make it so like random people can join, but only members can chat, if that makes sense. But that's hard to do through Patreon. Like Patreon is more like only Patreon would see it. I still want other people to be able to see the live streams and see what we're talking about and be able to join if they want to join. It would just maybe have to be a separate thing from Patreon. And I'm like, ugh, I hate making another thing for people to have to join. You know what I mean? Is he able to pull it off? Then maybe I'm just not looking at it the best. Maybe I can find out how to actually do it. Okay, it's 10:20. I know, guys. Less techie subscribers, yeah. Here's the thing, guys. I have been going live a little bit longer than I should have for the past couple of days, and it's backed me up on some stuff, so I'm trying to stay live a little bit here, but I do have to hop off for now. I'm going to see if I can get some stuff done to jump on for, not Jerome Powell, but for the FOMC minutes reaction later. It's not really a guarantee at this point. I hope I can. We'll see if I'm able to. But for today, it's just looking a little bit busy for me. I've been live too long on Monday and Tuesday. But I'm seeing if I can just push some stuff off to tomorrow and come live later today. So I'll see what happens, but not a guarantee. If so, we'll still be putting out a YouTube video tonight, and maybe we'll do tomorrow. Tomorrow I was thinking about just doing a little thing if I can. I'll see if I'm able to do it. But overall, guys, I just want to say thank you guys for being here. Oh, look, some buying pressure coming in for the 30-minute there. Is this 2-hour crossing? It's like the worst time. I could probably wait another 9 minutes here because I want to see if this actually crosses. No, I'll stay. Okay, I'll give you guys 9 more minutes, all right? I just gotta really get moving on stuff. I'm kind of behind on some stuff now, which makes trading even more stressful for me, which is lame, but the good thing is the risk is out, so now I'm just looking for the opportunity, so being patient is nice, you know what I mean? Hey, Greg, I think I'm learning some stuff from you too, right? We're bouncing off each other, and that's the best part about the channel. That's the best way, and I hope we can keep this channel like that forever. The chat is moving very, very quickly, so I'm trying to get to as much as I can, guys. We most likely will have to change things up soon if we keep growing out this. Figuring out money has been calling for a crash as of now. I don't know about that. Did you see that in his previous video? Because I don't think that's like him with situations like this. Figuring out money is a trader I really do respect. Several days ago? Really? I'll go check out his stuff and see what he's seeing, but I wonder what's making him say that. He really, I'd assume he's talking about the maybe breadth or the reaction from, or bonds maybe. I think he would talk something about bonds going to too low of levels, which can really cause problems with the yields going higher. And I subscribed in less than 5 minutes. That's a solid chance. Hey, thank you, Noah. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, okay, yes. All I got was yes, so I must be right about one of the two. 30-minute, 2-hour MACD education has been priceless. Yeah, and it's still not a perfect game, right? You still have to pay attention to your risk a lot, but I just learned that I really like the 30-minute and 2-hour, and I don't think a lot of people look at it, but 30 minutes great. You see 30-minute bar all day, every day, right? So it's very good. Meow. But I assume he'd be talking about the VIX. The thing is, even VIX, you're not seeing the crazy behavior. So I'd assume he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. Like, I actually genuinely think he is a smart person. I think if he was paying attention to anything, it would be the dollar. It'd be the yields getting too high, TLT dropping down too much to where, like, if they don't catch a bounce, that's why I'm saying TLT bouncing can be a good thing for the market because it pulls the yields down. And he really likes his game of flip lines for his day trading. So we'll see. I might check it out, see what he has to say. I might turn that on in my headphones while I'm working. Game of flip, bonds, etc. I'm not a day trader, more of a swing, but I have nibbled with my new knowledge. Yeah, just don't get in too big of a habit of it, right? Make sure if you start a day trade, you really got to be managing risk. I'm not day trading, right? Sometimes I just hold for a couple of days. Sometimes I'm holding for 2 weeks, you know? I use Elliott Wave heavily in my trading, but I basically trade as if everything is just an ABC. Don't really hold for the 4 and 5s or anything like that. Did you ever take an Apple play before FOMC? Not on this bar right now. Not on this bar right now. Right, that's my confirmation bar. What I want to see is a positive bar above the 9, and if it goes above the 5, I'm happy with that as well. And then what I would be doing for Apple, as I don't believe this is at the bottom side weekly expected move. Let me double check. Yeah, it's not at the weekly expected move. So what I would say for Apple is if it's going to hold up and give me this good signal, I would maybe, and I wouldn't be doing like some kind of 2-day, 1-day option with an off day tomorrow. I'd still be probably taking a month out and looking if this thing can trend up towards a weekly expected move this week or next week, if this signal confirms and you don't have to manage risk at some time. But that's how I would like to treat this. And I really am looking seriously at Apple. So I'll probably be checking on this in the next hour or so after I go say hi to the girls. But I really want to see a positive bar. Right now, this is a negative bar. I want to see a positive bar, and if it can take me slightly above the 5, I'm pretty happy with it. And then I'll be monitoring it, being like, hey, look at the 15-minute, it's still negative. If that goes positive and then turns back down, especially around, what, 1 o'clock, right? If we're here and this MACD goes like this, then it goes like that, I'm going to have to manage risk. But it does look like potential. I just don't like this confirmation as it stands right now. And you only have, what, 4 minutes left in the bar. So I would be waiting for positive bar to probably take you above the 5 at this point. That's how I'm going to look at Apple. All right, we're waking up. We got 4 minutes left for the SPY here. See if we can get that buying pressure to unconfirm the 2-hour signal. Which, this is technically on a positive bar, and that's a pretty solid wick, so I don't even think that's the best confirmation. It is a confirmation at this point, though. Dixie daily divergence at the top. Exactly, and that's why I'm really thinking, you know, yields are starting to come off, but the dollar's still ripping, so we got to see if that confirms. I say crash meaning a major pullback. We had 3 50% pullbacks before 2024 and only a 10% and a 6% pullback in 2024. We're kind of due. Yeah, polar bear. That's me. When I'm watching someone teach Elliott wave, I'm just like, yo, they have like 6 waves going on, 6 patterns going on at the same time with like 4 different waves. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Major motion greed kills, stay alive for another day. Hey, that's a shout out to Anthony. Thank you for coming in today, Anthony. Appreciate you being here. Oh my god, Bowdy's Bowdy's saying facts. Okay, that's something I'm doing first thing tomorrow. January, what's the day? January 9th. All right, I wrote a note. 5-day moving average, January 9th in the morning. Fucking update the course, man. Gaw. Bowdy, thank you so much. I'm sorry, man. Ugh. All right, 2 minutes left. I don't think we're going to unconfirm this signal, so we're just seeing if this 30-minute might be a reactive move at this point. We'll find out. But I do have to hop off now. I probably got to go. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. If I can hop on the live show, make sure those notifications on. Thank you guys for subbing. Thank you guys for Losh coming out and subbing. Sorry I didn't say thank you for that, but Martial Law and who else gave some donations today? Martial Law, Justin, Short Fridays. Thank you so much for those. You guys are fantastic, and I look forward to streaming with you guys at least tomorrow, if not later today. So let's just make sure to keep trading like water, pay attention for the opportunities, and manage risk, and we will be just fine. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.